you know, and then I can
freeze
it again or whatever I want to do. Yeah. So that's the other way that you save. Like, so one way you deal with time is you use your time wisely with the podcasting. Another way of saving time is the economy of scale. You cook things all at once, and then you have a system of freezing it. And in fact, the more of this you have, the less power your freezer uses, because there's so much thermal inertia. Like if I have like 30 Pyrex bricks in that 9 cubic foot freezer, it uses almost no power, because like it's just amazing how ice stays as ice for a long time as long as it's all packed together.
So it takes more energy to cool an empty cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And right now, what's going on in here is, like, I just, you know, I had this packed as full as I can of my Pyrex bricks. And I have a couple of pieces. I get the frozen organic broccoli at Costco. And then these would be terrible in a salad because they've been frozen and they become limp, but they're brilliant dressing.
Oh.
So what you and Frank could do is, like, if you're worried that you're running out of stomach space for eating all that stuff and it's going to go bad, you can pack greens very tightly into a container and then just freeze it. And then this will be the capstone of our dressing. So you can get so many of the vitamins and minerals out of these greens, and I can have these for a couple of years in the freezer. And all it takes is you just chisel it.
You could use them in soups or sautés.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
could. Yeah, it's soup. It doesn't matter if it's lamb.
Yeah.
And then I always put the hard part at the top, and you'll see why. It's a special blender trick. So a little bit of hard stuff at the top, and I'll just refreeze this. So if you find these things on sale, let's say you go to Albertsons, and they're like half price or whatever because they're starting to go off, well, just grab them and put them in a freezer. What I do with freezers, like this thing probably cost me $750, okay? Here's the two things I'll tell you about freezers. If you get a freezer, get the biggest one you could possibly afford. Because once you realize the power of freezing, you'll freeze everything. You know, it's so much more efficient than refrigerating stuff. And so a lot of people make the mistake of getting a little tiny freezer and they're like, oh, I could have frozen that. Well, I can't because I don't have room. So get a huge one. And then the other thing I'll say about the freezers is get the ones that don't defrost. And these freezers are just ingenious because the cold air doesn't escape because cold air sinks, right? So that's the advantage of a chest freezer instead of where you open it like that. So with this one, the kilowatt hours, because it's not defrosting, because it's not spilling out the cold air, is so much better. It's like, I think it's like 5 or 6 times as efficient as a refrigerator. Isn't that cool? In fact, in Permaculture Activist magazine, I actually saw an article where people were putting thermostats inside of chest freezers and turning them into fridges. So like they would cut on if it got above 40, but like cut off if it got down to 33, right? And so they just changed the thermostat a little bit, and you can use it as a fridge. So like if this thing ever dies, then I will probably put just a chest freezer in, you know, and then like make that manipulation. Maybe you could help me with that because you're good with electronics and stuff. But you know, that sort of thing. It's so much less expensive. Like, just feel the cold air. Like, watch it all spill out. Right. You know, like this, it's going to have to like recool now. I just spilled half the air out of there. So, okay. So, got that. What else is good? My probiotic. Oh, okay. Here's something else. Nuts and seeds are good, but it's recommended that you soak them for the same reason that you soak beans, okay? So I'm going to put nuts in this salad. Is anyone allergic to tree nuts here? Okay. This is just like, it's like walnuts, almonds, a few hazelnuts, a few cashews. And I'm just rinsing off some of the phytate-filled water so that you don't have to challenge your digestive system with it.
Thanks. So phytates are something grown in nuts and seeds to keep us from eating it. They don't want us to eat them.
That's what I suspect. That's what I think was happening. So I buy nuts when they're on sale, and then I just soak them, and I just keep them in the fridge.
And where do you buy your nuts at?
I usually get them at Sprouts
You do?
when they're on sale.
Okay.
You have to wait and be careful, and then you have to buy a whole lot more than you want. But like, I'll walk away with $100 worth of nuts, but if it's 20% off, that's pretty good, right? So, and then I also keep my nuts in the freezer just because they, the healthy fats in them, you don't want them to go rancid. It's for the same reason that I put olive oil in the fridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oils go rancid easily. Fats don't. So coconut oil technically is a fat. And you can keep this on the kitchen counter and it won't go rancid. Keep this on the kitchen counter to your peril. Because you know what rancid fats are? They're free radicals. That oxidative stress is like literally produced with oils. So I'm very careful with my utilization of oils. How many of you like olive oil? Okay.
A question on the oil. Do you recommend a specific type, like just olive oil? Because I've heard that canola oil is not necessarily the best thing to use.
In my opinion, we should be using no oil whatsoever.
Okay.
Olive oil is tasty and probably among the healthier of the oils.
Mm-hmm.
Coconut oil is therapeutic. This stuff is really, it's a very healthy saturated fat. And so what I do, here's what I do to keep my salads interesting, is I try not to homogenize it. I try to have every single bite be slightly different tasting than every other single bite. So what I do is I'll chop up little bits of coconut oil and put it in there just like I was putting a garnish in a salad. Does anybody not like coconut? It's good. Have some. It's good. So we'll put a little bit of coconut oil in here. This is a really healthy saturated fat for you. And here's another healthy saturated fat. For those of you who are allergic to dairy, as I am, there's a brilliant thing. It's an Indian food called ghee. This is clarified butter. So they heat butter so that the fat rises to the top, and then they skim off the fat. That's significant because it tastes like butter. In fact, it is butter fat, but there's no protein left. And protein is what we're allergic to.
Can't believe it's
Do you guys like butter?
I love ghee.
not. Yeah.
Does anyone not like butter?
Krishna's favorite.
Okay, we'll give everybody a little bit of ghee. So
It's a richer, fuller flavor than everything. It's really good.
it's good. This stuff is good. On sweet potatoes, it's really good.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I do. I put the ghee on the sweet potato. But so literally, I'm just chopping up pieces of butter like they're little nuts or something, you know? And we'll just put them in the salad. And so each one of you will have just an absolutely divine bite of healthy, non-allergenic, saturated fat from an organic cow.
A question about the nuts. I know that the nuts at Sprouts, they don't have any that say organic. Is there such thing as organic nuts?
There are, but they're very pricey.
Okay.
So the two things that I don't do organic are avocados and nuts.
Okay.
And it's simply because, well, the avocados, I think it's relatively safe because you're not eating the skin.
Right.
With the nuts, you're also not eating the skin. I would like to support the organic, it's just they're just so pricey.
Right.
And healthy saturated fats like avocados and nuts, nuts not so much, but avocados definitely are part of a healthy Paleolithic diet. Like it's very good protein and fat in an avocado. And so, does anyone not like avocado?
Avocado's great.
You should have some.
No, I'll go ahead. Avocado's good.
rats,
Soaking the
it's gone
seeds, does
rancid.
that help?
Uh,
Does that help? Maybe if there was.
so I honestly don't know.
No.
I don't know. This is a brilliant black soldier fly food. Like once they've started to go rancid like this, what I'll do is I have a special, remember black soldier flies are especially fond of protein and fat, so like old dairy meat or things like that would be black soldier fly food. The best place to get avocados is